Many paranormal investigators are now moving away from traditional theories about ghosts to study a phenomenon known as residual haunting. This is the belief that certain haunted places, especially historic places, retain energy from the past that continues to replay in the present. Investigators believe this residual energy creates a kind of psychic wound in the environment that never heals.
Sometimes this place is as peaceful and calm as my own living room. I feel very much at home here. Other times I come in and it's ice cold. Sometimes I really feel as if I'm being watched. Sometimes I feel almost like whatever is here doesn't want me here. Those days I go into the office and do paperwork.
Richard Sennett is the curator of the Olivas Adobe in Ventura, California, one of the oldest surviving ranchos in the West. This adobe and the surrounding 5,000 acres were once the domain of Raimundo Olivas, the patriarch of one of the richest families in California. In 1972, the Olivas Adobe was donated to Ventura County, and that's when the secret of the adobe began to leak out.
Since 1972, there have been reports of ghosts here. It was at that time that we started to get reports of a woman in black being seen inside the house. First, park crews coming out to cut the grass and maintain the area would report seeing a woman inside the house looking out at them. And they thought it was someone who had broken in. So they would call the police. In fact, they called the police 5 or 6 times, and they would come inside the big no one here. There were many stories about being watched, seeing the woman. Many of them I got from ex-employees. It seems that for some strange reason, after they had an encounter, they tend to quit.
Dorothy Wilson is a volunteer docent at the Olivas Adobe and a former skeptic.
Here I come out here, a non-believer, quite frankly. And then it happens to me? Hard to believe, really.
It was early morning. Dorothy was alone in the adobe. Suddenly, there was a form, the lady in black.
The best I can do is draw you a figure like that. And I don't know whether you could, how did you explain a figure like that? It's almost as if I had a black mantilla on and it covered me almost completely. Totally in black, you understand, with obviously the back toward me. I did a double take, stepped back and looked in the room. Whatever it was gone.
Many historic sites are haunted. And I think there's a really logical reason why. They are historic sites because lots of passionate, violent, important things happened within those walls.
All these emotions have played out within the walls of the rancho. The land was granted to Raimundo Olivas in 1841. He brought his bride, Teodora, here. They had 21 children. Their home was a social and political center until Raimundo died. Greed tore the family apart, and the fortune was squandered. In her last years, Teodora was destitute and desperately lonely.
Toward the end, she was just reduced to a very low state. The family fortune was gone. Finally, she passed on.
Many believe Teodora is the lady in black, but there are other women who also suffered and died in this house.
I'm drawn into this room.
Sightings asked psychic investigator Dr. Susan Stewart to tour the adobe.
I recognized when I came here what people were referring to, the lady in black. You can see her in your mind's eye. Oh, all right. In this mirror, you'll be able to see her face.
How would you describe the way you see her?
Very wonderful, strong jaw and beautiful brows coming straight across. Defined face. It's a strong, powerful, attractive face. It's not actually a spirit. It's the clairvoyant memory of a spirit. So what that essentially means, clairvoyant, French word means clear seeing. So what's happening is we are seeing essentially a memory. We are seeing not what's actually occurring at the time, but what did occur many, many, many times in the past. So it's almost as though it's a piece of video or a film that's caught in a loop.
Stewart and several other eyewitnesses described the lady in black as young, perhaps 18 or 19, the same age Theodora's daughter-in-law, Maria, was when she died in childbirth. To further determine the possible identity of the lady in black, EVP expert Bart Ellis set up digital recording devices throughout the Olivas Adobe.
EVP is electronic voice phenomena. It's a process of recording paranormal voices. We are hoping that we can have some of our unseen friends. We know for a fact that it is legitimate, valid phenomena, and it's one of the very few phenomena in psychic research that can be validated.
I'd like to know who it is that's in this house. Who is it that's in this house? Can you identify yourself for us?
Under scientifically controlled conditions and with new factory-sealed blank audio tape, recordings were made throughout the house, with particular attention paid to 3 hotspots: the sewing room, the children's room, and the master bedroom. Several hours of tape were recorded in what seemed like complete silence. The recordings were played back in a sound studio, and tape after tape revealed nothing. Then, one sound on one of the final tapes spoke to Bart Ellis.
Right there. Hear that? Hello. Play it back. Wait, it's going to come up again. It's going to come up again. Hello. You hear now? You hear it's kind of a breathy sound?
Definitely.
That's absolutely a paranormal voice, and that's as far as I'm concerned, that's absolute evidence of life after death.
Is this the voice of Theodora or Maria echoing through the ether of time? The answer is as elusive as the identity of the lady in black. But Ellis says this is just the first rudimentary step in an emerging process that will one day allow us to communicate between this world and the next. The recording of EVP, so-called electronic voice phenomenon, at the Olivas Adobe was an extremely rare event. For more than 5 years, Sightings has participated in recording experiments at many haunted sites, and in only 3 cases has any kind of anomalous noise been picked up. Those sites are the Olivas Adobe, the New Jersey home of Tony Adams, and the site of the Heartland ghost haunting.